So it's customary on Friday evenings, which is the beginning of Shabbat, the Sabbath.
Do you know what shalom means?
So it's it means hello, goodbye, and peace. And so when you say shalom to somebody, not only are you greeting them, but you're also wishing them peace, which is a beautiful thing. And not only is it Shabbat this evening, but it's also the beginning of the Jewish New Year, which is why we have some of these special things around us. So, would anybody like to describe?
Is usually in a
the closest
circle.
thing to challah. Bahamian challah.
Traditionally it'd be made in a circle shape, even though usually it's braided equally. So the circle represents like the new year, a new start.
Every single Friday night. So even though it's one of the most holiest times of the year, and it is because it's the new year, we still put preference, we give seniority to Shabbat because it's the most sacred holiday in the Jewish religion. So we're going to light the Sabbath candles here, and we're going to do a little prayer for that, and then we're going to take some bread, which we do every single Shabbat, and then at the end we're going to dip some apples in honey, and you can dip the bread in honey too, to signify a sweet new year for everybody. Okay? Who'd like to light our candles?
I will.
Alright, Clay, take it away, man. Let's go, John. And as he lights the candles, I'm going to sing, and if you know the words, I'd love if you sing along with me. The prayer goes like this, it goes, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu shel Shabbat.
Justin, why does the Jewish New Year not coincide with like the natural? I mean, granted, December 30th.
That's a great question.
You know what I mean? But
yeah. So part of the reason is that the entire Jewish calendar isn't based off the sun; it's based off the moon. And so that's why a Jewish day, or any holiday, for example Shabbat, begins in the evening, because the sun setting signifies the start of a new day. It's kind of backwards.
okay.
So what we're doing now is we're greeting a new day, which is Shabbat, which is the Sabbath. So as the sun sets, and in fact we would really wait until we saw, some people say 1 star, some people say 3 stars, but we'd wait until we saw the stars, and then we'd know that the sun had set and a new day has begun. Good question. So now we're all going to take a piece of bread. So take one and pass it around.
We already have a table there.
Does anybody know the Hebrew word for bread? Right? So the prayer goes like this. It goes, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Anything else?
and then eat your bread. And what I just said was, blessed are you, Lord our God, who brings bread from the earth, who gives us bread from the earth. Now we don't have wine. That would be the other prayer that we'd say. We don't have any wine tonight.
It's the only reason I showed up.
Yeah, right. But we can like pretend to raise our wine glasses, and we'll sing Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu Shabbat, close enough, right? And then we say L'chaim, which is like salud, or cheers, and you drink your wine.
Nice, Johnny. Classic.
Yep, you do red wine. That's right. And there's a lot of really good traditional. It's like very sweet. Maybe we'll try to get some. And the last thing that I want to talk about really quickly is, so why are we celebrating this Rosh Hashanah, and what does it mean? So the 10 days beginning, it actually began on Wednesday, I think, right?
Yeah, it was a week.
Yeah, so the 10 days beginning this past Wednesday are called the high holidays, or the holy days. Because that's where the word holiday comes from, holy day. So, and they represent a period of time where you're going from the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, which means the head of the year. So when you say Shana Tova. Can you guys repeat that? Shana Tova?
Shana Tova.
You're saying Happy New Year, basically. They go from that day all the way 10 days later to Yom Kippur. Say that, Yom Kippur.
Yom Kippur.
And that's the Day of Atonement. That's the day when you ask forgiveness for all of the sins of the previous year. So you're kind of like purging all of the things that you're not so proud of the past year in the very beginning of the new year, getting them away, getting them out. And the custom is to find all the people that you've hurt or sinned against or wronged in some way in the past year and ask them for forgiveness. Okay? And once you've done that, it's said that God forgives once man asks forgiveness. So once you've asked forgiveness wholeheartedly from all the people that you've wronged in the past year, then you can be forgiven and you can be given another year of life. So we kind of have these 10 days now, guys, to like really apologize if we've wronged or hurt somebody. And if somebody comes to you to apologize, the right thing to do is to accept that apology, right, and move on. Because that's your duty in continuing and having a good year, is to accept the apologies of the people who come to you. So the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to take some apple, you can pass around the apple, and we're just going to dip it in the honey and eat it. And then Chris Max is going to talk a little bit about this cool thing sitting here, a little bit about